everyone, StacyBurke here. Now I'm filming this on a Friday. It is February 3rd. I'm a little full. I just got home from work and I'm a little full. Ate some top ramen, no seasoned packet, but top ramen, broccoli with a little bit of chili, like Oriental chili sauce on it and soy sauce. I don't know where I left off pretty much with the divorce diaries I'm talking about, and I don't really want to repeat myself with Snapchat, if you follow me on Snapchat. And I don't know where I'm going to put my snaps that I've been doing because I have like a week's worth of snaps. I might just do a video of week's worth of snaps and kind of repeat myself a little bit what I said in my Snapchats. But I'm reflecting on a lot of things and on how like the perception of people are, how they think that I antagonized my husband and all that kind of stuff and at fault. Which I'm not saying I'm completely out of blame. I'm not. But with my husband and all his friends, his guy friends, they get in tiffs all the time. They get in fights all the time. They yell at each other all the time. They call each other's names. There's a lot of drama with him and his friends. But I never had that same luxury. If I did any of the things that his friends did, I'm a terrible wife. I'm a bitch. I antagonize him. It was just weird how I didn't get the same luxury as his friends get. Because there's a lot of times we would have fights, and I'm not even that mad, but he would make it really to another level. And then a lot of times what people would see in public is what me wound up. Like Roy would wind me up and send me off, and then they see it. Or he just knew how to press my buttons. Like sometimes when he would get a little drunk, he would always say, oh, the Middle East guys have it correctly. The wives need to be insubordinate. Like he was very much like wives just have no say. But yet, in the married world, he didn't believe in gender roles where the husband provided and protected the wife. In other words, I had to pay my share, and I did. I paid all the bills. I didn't pay the rent, but I paid all the bills. And I did all the cooking and the cleaning and all that. But yet he said he didn't believe in gender roles. So there's a lot of contradictions with him. A lot. Yeah, looking back. And also, I said from the last video, starting from the beginning, but I guess I'm just going to go all over the place because it's what's in my head right now. The girl that I think he's with right now, because where he lives now, his best friend from high school lives, his best friend's son. There's our friend Gary who lives here that's also there. That's Stacy, I know another Stacy, lives out there, his girlfriend from high school. And then there's the Knack. So he has a lot of people where he lives right now. A lot of support team. And the girlfriend he had in high school, she's a really nice girl. I got along with her on Facebook quite a bit. We kind of have the same political viewpoints, and she seems cool. But she's been coming around, and I notice he's been calling her more, and I know that he's been out there. And the reason I think part of it is because she had a mother that was kind of terminally sick. I forget what illness it was. It might have been MS. I'm not sure. But she was really sick, and she was in and out of wheelchairs and stuff. And my husband used to be really good friends with her and her mom and care for her. Well, when the mom died, his new chick or old chick, not old as in age, I mean old from high school, she took over that house and stuff. And see, my husband's very much into, because he has a lot of health needs, he looks for the wife or the woman to care for him. Because, like I said, he has one eye, so he's legally blind. He has a heart problem. He did have cancer. He got rid of the cancer. He just has a lot of health ailments, and then he has now panic attacks and post-traumatic stress disorder. He has a lot of ailments. And he's very demanding on that the woman take off work and just, when needed, and just be at his beck and call for certain things, and take him to ERs and just be there for him and stuff. And I think one of the things that probably drew him to her is, first of all, he knew her from high school. Second of all, he knew the mother. Third of all, now she has a house. Security. He's always wanted a house. Fourth of all, she was a caretaker and giver to her mom, which he would like. So she's used to being that person. So I'm sure he gravitated towards that as well. And, you know, she's an independent woman, and so I'm sure there's a lot of things that he's interested in that drew him. And when we had our problems before, off and on, when he says he's going to leave, he's going to leave. A long time ago, I think about 6 months ago, I go, hey, if you want, we can just be roommates. If you're not really into this, like, I haven't given you part of the puzzle yet, which I will eventually. I go, we could just be roommates or whatever. We could, if you're not into the romantic part of the marriage, we could just be friends that live together. You know, you take care of the rent, I take care of everything else, like literally everything else. He never replied to me, and I just assumed everything was back to normal because he was acting kind of normal, and so we're back to normal. I think that email got to him, and I think that's when he started maybe contacting her more, because that would have fit in the timeline. You know, just thinking back. And then I thought I was doing him a favor by just going out and doing my own thing, because he said he was financially strapped and he wanted to save money for a house and all that. So I figured instead of me going out with him and him paying for the drinks and the food, I would just go out and do my own thing, because I know he didn't really want to do what I want to do. So I went to the LA County Fair by myself. I just went to go events by myself. I wasn't seeing anyone. I never cheated a day in my life. I just went out, did my own thing, paid for my own drinks, paid for my own food, just took myself out. And I think that's when he got kind of closer to her and to where he lives now. So maybe I just shot myself in the foot. I don't know. And some days are good. Some days I'm like, okay, I got this, it's good. But today was kind of hit me hard. It was raining. I was at work. And some shirts came in from the dry cleaners that reminded me of his shirts and how I used to take care of his shirts. You know, and part of me wants to say like, oh yeah, I bet he's going to miss me. But in thinking about it, probably not. Because she's used to caring for someone. So now she has him. So, and I can't say for sure they're together, but when he picked up the rest of his stuff, it was her vehicle. And I did block her from my Facebook after I knew he was calling her a lot, just because I just didn't want to see it. And I know there's a lot that I wanted to talk to you about in the timeline frame, because there's a lot of red flags on his behavior parts. Like sometimes he would just like say the rudest things to me, and you know, it was usually after a few drinks. It wasn't like in his normal state, but you could tell that he didn't really respect women that much, because he would tell me about past dates, how they wanted to go home with him. And he goes, oh, sure, why don't you just dance naked on my coffee table as I watch Sports Center? And he said some girls did. And his first come on line to me, if you remember from The Girls Next Door, which I thought was just a joke, when he goes, oh, you're like a 5 or 6 for Long Beach, but you'll be a 9 or a 10 with my dick in your mouth. And so when I took him home for the one night stand, I did that, and with his D in my mouth, I said, am I a 10 yet? Am I a 10 yet? And he cracked up. And I thought that was just like a joke thing, and then he thought, okay, you're a cool chick. Like, you know. But the more as time goes by, I'm like, wow, that's really kind of what he believes. You know, like he wants a woman, or his woman, to take care of him, but yet hold her own with finances. And I told him, in my eyes, you can't have everything. Either you're going to have, like, you know, an old-fashioned girlfriend or wife who does all the cooking and cleaning and cares for you, but that means it's almost impossible. Like, he wanted kids and wanted to adopt. Like, well, you know, if we ever adopt, this is one of the things, like, see, I can't have children. And I told him, like, first of all, we have to be accepted to be adopted, to adopt some kid. You can't blame it on me. And then once we get accepted, you gotta, like, we're not gonna have a nanny. I'm gonna have to quit my job and stay home with the child, or figure something out. Because, like, if you're working and I'm working, then who's home with the kid? Like, we gotta figure this out. And yet he would be like, no, I don't believe in gender roles. You're gonna pay, you know, half. And I'm like, well, that's fine, but then are you gonna stay home with the kid? Because, and just things like that, it didn't make sense to me. And then when he was going through radiation, after his cancer was gone, he got mad at me because I wouldn't take off work to take him to radiation. I go, well, you're fine. You're going to radiation. Like, do you want me to quit my job? Because I got to work. Because it's not just I get to take off work because there's no one to cover my shifts. And I would have to work that out. And don't you want some income? Because, like, it just didn't make sense. Like, he wanted both. He wanted me to pay all the bills, but yet be like an old-fashioned wife. But yet he told me he didn't believe in gender roles. So there's a lot of contradictions there. And I told him, look, everyone has their own thing. To me, a marriage is like 100%, like whatever. You make it work, how to make it work. If I'm an old-fashioned girlfriend, I'm an old-fashioned girlfriend or wife, but you can't have both. Like, you can't have both. Either I'm going to be an independent, I'm going to work, I'm going to pay half the bills, but that paying the bills and everything, I say my speech, I earn a vote, you know? Or do you want an old-fashioned wife that just, that doesn't work, but then, see, it just didn't make sense. I go, it doesn't make sense. And not putting anyone down that does anything, it's just that you either have a little bit of both or one or the other, but it's like you can't have all of everything. Like, if I'm going to pay the bills, I'm going to have a say-so. And I'm not saying, like, if you don't pay the bills, you don't have a say-so. You have a say-so no matter what. But it's like, I have a hat in the ring. You know, I have a hat in the ring. And it's like, if you want an old-fashioned wife, then how do you expect me to pay half the bills unless I go to work? I got to go to work. There's a lot of contradictions, and I'm spending a lot of time not really explaining things and not really divulging any more information. But yeah, there was things like he would do, like you get fights with me and he would throw my window out. He would throw my purse out the window as I was driving. Not throw it, but he would have it out of the window and things flying. I think I told you about this. And I went to punch him. It's about like, it's a video like I punched my husband, but I really didn't. I went to punch him, but halfway through, because we were driving, and he has my purse out the window, and I'm seeing things flying out the window. So I went to punch him, but I didn't, and I just kind of went like, you know, like, oh, I think I went like, and I slapped him or like went like that. But it wasn't hard. Like, I changed my mind halfway through. But in his eyes, he saw it like I punched him, but I know I didn't. And then there's lots of times at the Playboy Mansion, at Fetish Con, and many times where, and I have it on tape. I did a few times. I did press record, and I have it stored, of him just ranting to me, saying, "I'm no one. You think I'm a plus one?" Like this, him talking to me. "You think I'm a plus one here? Where we live, you're the plus one. I'm Mr. Long Beach. You think you're so high and mighty, Miss StacyBurke, and all your fans. You think you're so great. But, you know, you think, you know, you run things here, and I'm the plus one. Well, you may think so, but when we get home, I'm number one, and you're my plus one. You're subordinate. You know, the Middle East has it right. You know, that I'm nobody, and you think," and he would just have me crying. And the next day for my photo shoots, I'd be all a mess. He hated the Playboy Mansion because he thought I ran it. And as you all know, I did not at all. But he wasn't in control there. It was me. It was me. And he didn't like that. Fetish Con, it was me. He didn't like that. And yes, there is a few stories. He did something really bad at Fetish Con, and he did something really bad at the Playboy Mansion. And that needs its own video. And I'm sorry for keeping you string along. But it's like there's so much that's coming into my head that it's really hard for me to sit down and do a video because there's just so much in my head. And there's so much I want to get out, and I just need to get out. And there's another thing I haven't get out, but it's like this video is already 17 minutes. There's just so much, and I need it to come out. I need people to know what's been in my soul for so long. Oh my God, I'm so full from top ramen. But yeah, he yelled at me many times in the Playboy Mansion. One time he yelled at me right outside the front door, and I know Hef's window was right there, and I was like, "You're going to wake Hef, you're going to wake Hef." And he was just yelling at me. He just hated that I had any spotlight. Whenever we went someplace, whenever we went out, he had to have the floor talking. And I let him, because I don't care. I'm not happy to have the floor, because I'm not really that good at speaking anyway. But whenever we had conversation with our friends, he had the conversation. And then a lot of times I would want to say something, and I would get a little bit of a word out, and he would just talk right over me. Or he would raise his voice so he drowns me out. And I even had to look at him like, and then of course people looked at me thinking I was acting a bitch because you're not letting me speak, because he wouldn't. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, did you want to say something, honey?" And I'm like, yeah, that's why I kept on going, because this is like, he'd be talking, here's people talking, and this is me. And after a while, I just got used to it. I'm like, whatever, I'm just not going to talk. You know, I became more of a recluse than I already am. You know, because in our private life, I'm not like StacyBurke, the fetish model. StacyBurke, Hef's ex-girlfriend. You know, StacyBurke from Fetish Con. Like, you know, I didn't have a title. I was just his wife. Just a chick, you know. I didn't always have to have the floor. I'm fine with it. But then there's once in a while you do have something to say. And it's like, it took a lot. I literally had to raise my voice or look at him, and then he would go, "Oh, sorry," but he would make a big deal of it so the other person saw it. "Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Did you want to speak?" And then it made me look like an idiot. So that's one of the little things irks me. And sometimes it does help for me to vent to you guys about it, because it reminds me of the 9 years of things that I've been dealing with, that I've been suppressing. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Like, you know, maybe this really is. Because he never really had my back. He never. Whenever I was really sad about my mom, because my mom is dead, he had no sympathy towards that at all. In fact, he recoiled. And, like, in other words, it's okay for me to hurt, but it's not okay for him to hurt. Like, I'm sorry, sometimes my mouth doesn't work. Yeah. Even with his friends, my friend, I'm not going to say his name, but they were all talking one time, and they're all probably talking crap about me. And I'm crying as my mom, and I hug our friend. I'm like, I miss my mom. And he goes, well, just go to your husband. Your husband needs you. That's your husband. Go to your husband. I'm like, what does that have to do with I'm just missing my mom? Like, I had he had a way of talking to all our friends where, like, I'm having a moment here and no one's sympathizing with me at all. All the sympathy is going to him. I mean, I understand he needs sympathy once in a while. We all do. But I get nothing at all. It just, and the time's ticking. So I'm going to end this video. And there's more. There's more. I didn't even get anything really out. No new revelations. But just stay tuned. I have a lot. I have a lot to unleash. Without bashing him. This is just me. Because I'm sure there's reasons for why he did. I'm sure things happened in his past. And I don't even know if I should get into that, because that's his story. But the things he told me in his past is very sad. There is some things in his life, if it's true, I think it is, but there's things in his past that was really bad. So I'm sure there's a reason for it. So I don't want to really bash him. I just want to talk about things that I was feeling, and my reactions, and things that were said to me, and how I reacted, and my story. So I'm really hoping it doesn't come across as bashing, because I don't want that, because no matter how bad you think he is, even bad people, there's some kind of, there's a worth to them anyway, and there's probably a reason they are acting this way. And that's one of the reasons why I stayed with him too, because I'm thinking, you know, even bad people deserve to be loved, because maybe there's a reason why they're bad, and maybe they need to be understood and helped. So that was me, you know, even though I don't know, maybe I turned bad in the process. I don't know. But this is my story. And I'll get to more of the meat of the matter in time. So to all my Stace-Cadets and my Burkettes, I hope you have a groovy day. And stay tuned to the Divorce Diaries, Untying the Naughty.